So you have to ask yourself, are there going to be... I'm getting a call. Could it be from an otherworldly being? Let's pick it up and find out, baby. Hello? Skull! What's going on, baby? Yes, I have got your cup right here. Absolutely delicious. Let me take a sip. What do you mean yours is better than mine? No, I doubt it. I don't care what reality you're at. Listen, the 6 scale cantina special brewed coffee is absolutely out of this world. You're saying I brew it better in your reality. Listen, Skull, I know election day is today. You think you're going to win by a landslide. Again, you said that your running mate is yourself. No. You mean you penciled me in. I'm not running with you. I do not want to run as your vice president on your reality. What do you mean I'm on the wait list? Skull! Well, there you go. News from beyond, from the 13th skull. Absolutely delicious. And you're going to want to stay tuned for the news that I have within this reality. There is a new figure that has waitlisted that is absolutely shocking at the timing. Does it pinpoint to a domino effect for other figures that are about to waitlist? You're going to want to stay tuned for sure. And listen, nothing's selling. Nothing is really selling within the secondary market. There's a whole lot that goes into that. Just like there's a whole lot of goodness that goes into this coffee. Go ahead and dive into it with me, baby. Right now. All right, and welcome everyone to another episode of The Market Show, episode 3 of this new season of The Market Show, right here at the 6 scale cantina. Yes, the Dark Jedi is back, and I'm back with some crazy market news, including what you're seeing here on the screen. And you have to ask yourself, is it possible that the revenge of the Sith Darth Sidious has already hit the waitlist? And I say, yes. Holy smokes. The collector edition here is waitlisted, baby. And the special edition is waitlisted as well. And for how long? And how many years, really, were a lot of collectors vying for this version of Palpatine? We all remember these scenes between him and Hayden Christensen, within Revenge of the Sith. It was absolutely fantastic. And then subsequently afterwards, with Yoda, with their battle. But it's already going on the wait list. Why, baby? Why? And I tell you what, this is insanity, because it's one of the key key figures, no pun intended, in Star Wars, especially for Revenge of the Sith. And it's already, both versions are hitting the waitlist. So it does make you wonder, since this is tied to Revenge of the Sith, is it possible that General Grievous is going to follow in the same suit? And I say we're going to have to keep an eye on it. But I'll tell you right now, this was another one we were talking about over and over again. Hot Toys, please. Howard Chan, McPlease, baby. Put out Grievous. One that is better than the sideshow version. Put out Emperor Palps. Emperor, Darth Sidious from Revenge of the Sith. And we got it. And he is waitlisted. Both versions. Will General Grievous, be waitlisted soon? Think about that. Let me know in the comments. And as you're commenting on your opinion on this, smash that like button. And don't forget to subscribe. Hit the sub if this is the first time you're watching. And pause. I think I need a sip of coffee, baby. Cheers, baby. So, this is very, very interesting. And I do think we have to ask ourselves just how many of these releases that are on pre-order does Hot Toys plan on producing? Because the Darth Sidious figure here that has hit waitlist, I just don't know how many figures that is going to really amount to be. And when you look at everything bestseller-wise here, and using Sideshow.com, and you can see that the Dark Trooper is #1 because many of you know, and if you don't know, right now they have a great special going on Sideshow, and for certain purchases, I think it's over $250 or something, they'll give you a free Dark Trooper, like free, 100% free. But I think they're going to switch that figure soon and then offer it as something else. But obviously that's why that is #1. But when you look at these releases here, and then you see in the mix is still Batgirl, in the mix is still this black and gold Batman. Okay, so let's click on that and tie this together. This is limited to 2,000 pieces. Let me blow it up so you can see it on the screen, baby. This is a limited edition of 2,000 pieces. And it's up near the top rows, best-selling wise. And it hasn't. I'm going to say it one more time, baby. It hasn't sold out. Let's pause for another sip because I want you to digest this. It's been near the top. So has the black and gold Batman from the video game. And it hasn't sold out. Another sip. And this great wizard thermos. It hasn't sold out. So what are they selling? Those other ones? Are they selling 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 copies of any of these figures? No. Not even close. Again, in my view. And it's absolutely mind-boggling when you look at this. And I'm going to click on this Batman one. Let's see if this one, at least this one, has limit of 1 per person. And this is also limited to just 2,000 people. But look at this here. No low stock remaining warning. And sometimes they use that almost gone message as well. Besides a low stock remaining, that little warning that they put up. or almost gone or almost sold out. Just limit one per person. And again, you're seeing everything here best-selling wise that is on this particular screen. So you do have to ask yourself just how many copies of this Darth Sidious are going to be out in the secondary market once these now, I mean, this is basically going to be the secondary market for the most part because it hit waitlist on the main official distributor for Europe and the United States. This is gone. And how many is here? 10,000 of the collector edition? 15,000 of the special edition? Or is it more around 2,000 maybe for the collector edition? Maybe 4,000. Like the Artisan Joker. Again, more and more announcements, I have been saying, right? Less production of these announcements, which is also what I have been saying. With more 2.0s, which they've been coming out with a lot of, more variations, which they definitely have been coming out a lot of with, and more variations of those particular copies. You could look at this right here. And a lot of collectors, and I get it, just like with InArt. Oh, I just wanted the sculpted version. I don't want the rooted hair version from InArt. And I don't want the rooted version of Aragorn from InArt. I want the sculpted, and the same thing here. But a lot of the collectors that are paying this kind of money, they want the big enchilada. They want the premium deluxe rooted with the implantation technology from Artisan, from InArt. And then you have to wonder, the Artisan edition was limited to 4,000 pieces. Here it is right here. 4,000 pieces. And the collector edition is not limited to anything. But should we really assume that, this collector edition is going to be like 14,000 and this is the real limited one? Honestly, I think you have to ask yourself, is the collector edition with the sculpted hair, perhaps, even though we'll never know, perhaps more limited than the Artisan one? Pause. Wizard Thermos. Chew on that. It's a little crazy, right? When you really think about it and you're diving into a lot of this stuff that you see on here. You could take a look at this Lady Pool. This lady Pool figure, which never got up very, very high, even how popular this movie is. Well, would they make 10,000 of these? No. Did it hit 5,000? Did they really sell more of these than the 6,000 Artisan Black Widows? I would think this is probably going to be more rare than the collective Artisan Black Widows. So when you start seeing where some of these are shaping up and shaking out, and here's what's really interesting here. I can pull up the Dark Trooper. That's number 1 right now. Just how many figures and how many did they used to make in the past? I don't see a low stock remaining warning on here or almost gone. Perhaps next week, once this gets out of the weekend, this will be sold out. But if not, this might have been a super duper big production. If it's not. Wow. But let's continue to go down this particular list and see some of these figures that are on here. You know, you can see this. Let's pull up this The Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, which obviously went up very, very high, and the Artisan edition sold out very, very quickly. Well, it eventually sold out anyway. Okay, this one. I don't think it was as quick as the others, but it was gone in a day. But really? Did the collector edition? This is 4,000 pieces. Let's take a look. Okay, sold out. Do you really think the collector edition just doubled that 4,000? If I were to guess, I bet you it's going to be more rare and less than 4,000 than the Artisan edition. But honestly, baby, we're never going to know. We're just not really going to know. Let's continue to go down some of these pages. Very, very interesting indeed to look at some of these other figures. These Darth Mauls, you know, they did get up there for a couple of weeks, kind of like where, you know, when the Batgirl first came out and the black and gold Batman, and then it got a little bit higher for a couple weeks, and then it kind of went all the way down. This Darth Maul that you see here. I mean, how many? How many are selling right now? And here's another question for you. If it's not as much as maybe we think, does that spell for something like this Darth Maul perhaps even another type of exclusive, type of variation, type of out of the box, like Iron Strange or Expanded Universe or comic book variation? Or even if you could think of, even though they do a great job, you can see here with the wiring in his tunic and his little, whatever that is there, his outfit. If they would just do with this figure, saying, yeah, we got to sell more of them, let's do that. And then out of nowhere, they give you like that Mythos Darth Vader. And here is that Mythos Darth Vader. And you have to wonder, is it possible that we can get a Mythos type Darth Maul so that they can use that same head sculpt again, so there can be more and more announcements but less production of each announcements, but with more variants? And I say yes, 1,000%. And honestly, if they could give me a Darth Maul that kind of looks like this, forget about it. Forget about it. And you know that they just put out Asajj Ventress. And again, shout out to the Hot Toys Wizard who puts Asajj Ventress on, I say, a couple of banners, at least, throughout the history of 6-scale Cantina. And what other figure was I saying that they were going to come out with? And that's right on the banner of this episode. Come on, you know Asajj Ventress is going to be coming out. And is it possible that when they put Ventress out, and just like you see with this headshot of the Sideshow version, of the Mythos version anyway, that was available on Sideshow for Asajj Ventress, would they do it in the same way? Would they put Ventress out kind of like a Mythos style that would go with this Vader, and then do Darth Maul that would go with this Vader? I think that would be very successful for Hot Toys, because I don't believe that this is the last time you're going to see this battle damage type of Mythos style from Hot Toys for sure. This is absolutely not going to be the last time that we see it. But yeah, I mean, really, they can absolutely go crazy with this Mythos figure. If I mean, just look at that Vader. And then if you could imagine if Hot Toys did this, and they can have the available hood that can go over her head, and you're seeing, this Mythos type. I mean, this is, and they could do a crazy base, whether it be something like this or something else. But this would match. I mean, this is what that Vader kind of goes with, is what you're seeing here. That's on the screen. So you do have to wonder, would they do something that kind of matches this with Asajj Ventress? And I do think you have to ask yourself the same thing about Darth Maul, because of how it's selling within the within the primary market, and all of these figures. It's not just Darth Maul; it could be any particular figure. Are we about to go to Variant City? And then also, don't forget, and going back to page 1, before I even go on to some more of this stuff here, going back to this Joker, did they do a variant of the Artisan version of this already, besides the sculpted version? Yes. The Batman Imposter version, which uses the same exact head sculpt. Chew on that. Are you chewing on my breadcrumbs? Are you starting to understand the trends? Pause. You're watching the market show. Hit the like. Smashy the sub. Come on, baby. Sure. And don't forget, they did this with the General Obi-Wan Kenobi for the Clone Wars, and gave you another Kenobi from the Clone Wars with like a very brief scene of him in that outfit, using, again, reused Mandalorian armor and the same exact head sculpt. And I'm not seeing any trends that suggest, oh, this is only going to be done with 1 or 2 figures. Gosh, going back to that Batman and this Batgirl, this purple Batgirl, and this Batman, there's a variance that I feel we didn't need. Right there, baby. Right there. But let's continue to go on. And listen, when you look at figures like this Ahsoka, you see this Ahsoka that's on the screen? She never went very, very high when she was first announced. And I'll be quite honest with you, it's been all the way back here for quite a while. And I think she went as far as that Flash alternate with the long hair from the Flash movie that got canceled. Remember that? There was that toyish Iron Man that was canceled as well, that I guess wasn't selling. And of course, that version of Barry Allen, the other Flash that was in the Flash movie, that they canceled. And, obviously, I don't know if they just weren't selling as much as they anticipated, but some of these figures are just not selling where they once were. I mean, you look at this Ahsoka, and I can bring you up a different Ahsoka right now, the DX version of the Rosario Dawson Ahsoka, and you could see right here, and honestly, as I pulled this up on the screen, this was an auction that didn't get any bites, and now it's just $195. It got no bites as an auction. The seller reverted it to $195. Buy it now. And when they were trying to sell it at a very low price, just nothing. And new. And with the shipping box. And the deluxe version. And you could say, well, they want Ares just a new version. Okay, it's a new version, but it's not a 2.0 of this version, though. This version has very special meaning. When she was first introduced, and this is a DX, and this was waitlisted before it ever got into stock, and we can't get a bite on it. And is it more because the figure is bad, or is it more because everybody who has this figure at this point already has this figure? Meaning, there's just nobody else that wants this figure. So I'm going to give you a case in point. My wife doesn't want this figure. My 3 daughters don't want this figure. Most of my friends don't want this figure. Not because they don't like this figure and they don't think this figure is stunning. They're just not collecting Hot Toys. And how many other people throughout planet Earth are not collecting Hot Toys? And how much of the same people, Collector Harry, Collector Susie, Collector this one, Collector that one, this one that goes on Instagram, that one that goes on Instagram, how much is it the same people over and over and over again collecting the same thing? And how much does this volatile global economy have to do with not enough people right now at this moment anyway to be able to justify buying this like they were before COVID? Because times are worse now. Make no mistake about it. Sometimes we just talk about COVID. Okay? Times are worse now financially than they were before COVID. Okay? And how much now are people just watching their wallets, shielding their checkbooks, not diving into a lot of these things right now, and still some things turn around, baby. Pause, chew on that. You're watching the market show. Because if you were telling me that everyone's just giving up on this, everyone's just giving up on this Ares and they're going for this Ahsoka, because this Ahsoka is superior. Okay, well, why is she all the way back here, baby? Well, Ares, it's been out for a long time. Well, wait a minute. Whoa. That other Ahsoka I just had up on the screen, that was available for 2 years almost. And that was always on the first page. You're not seeing that now with a lot of figures. Because money is tight and times are tight. And a lot of these companies have projected this, which is why when I was advising that it is possible that you're going to see more and more announcements, hooray, but a lot of more production of those announcements, waitlisted, Q systems, but more variations, huh? Because that's one method and one methodology that you can implement to be able to navigate these rough global economic times. Don't assume they're making more copies of this Ahsoka than the DX one. I dare say that it's going to be a ton less than that one. And when you look at some of these other Lord Starkiller, look at Kit Fisto. I think they're going to make more Artisan Jokers than Kit Fisto. I can pretty much. That's my guess. Okay, but there's definitely a lot more artillery stormtroopers than there will be Kit Fisto. That's for sure. Because times are changing. Just like there's going to be way more rescues than there's going to be Artisan and sculpted endgame new Scarlet Witches, Elizabeth Olsen likeness ones. You can take that to the bank. There was just a lot of them that were produced. And when you look at figures like this Supergirl, I don't know and you don't know, but could this get canceled like the like the alternate version of the Flash? A lot of people thought that perhaps, oh, they canceled that one version of the Flash because of the actors public problems. Well, no, if that was the case, they would have canceled both versions. So canceling one doesn't solve any political backlash if that's what they were looking to do. I don't believe that's what it was. I believe it was so far out of where they projected they were going to sell it that's the reason why, and they didn't see any alternate versions that they could copy again, because what they've got to do is not only produce these figures, but find variants to produce them again. And do they have different variants of Sasha Calle here that they're going to be able to do with the Flash, or is this one and done? And could some of these figures like this and some others also be in danger of getting canceled again? I'm not telling you to pre-order because I don't, unless it's an Artisan and I want it, and unless I can afford it. But the less pre-orders there are, it's hard for them to project where these are going to go, especially with the Supergirl figure. And it's not like, and you could tell me here, well, there was controversy with the head sculpt. Well, but there wasn't controversy here with this Darth Maul. There wasn't really controversy here with this Kit Fisto. The head sculpts are fine. And why are they all the way back here? So I don't think we can go with that. I don't think we can go with that argument. It has nothing to do with it. You can see right here. Here's what it has to do with. It has to do with money. Can you believe The Mandalorian is all the way on page 3? The non-deluxe one at $335. Yet you got the one on page 1 all the way up near the top right here, number 10, because it has 30% off. And you have to ask yourself, are collectors looking to get the best price right now and are only willing to spend a certain amount until they pull back? And I say, yes. Pause again. Hitty, the likey, smashy, the subby. Cheers to you, baby. And before we dive into more of this, if you like what you're hearing here, you may want to consider becoming a insider. And here's a new insider that's going to be coming up. Now, I've been a little bit sick over the past month, but I'm glad to be able to be back recording. But you're not going to want to miss this. How are some of these in-art figures, now that they're right here in my display case, how are they acclimating to the climate, especially after I manipulated the hair a little bit? Am I noticing anything with the rooted hair? I've had the Wonder Woman now for about a year, and I played with that hair very, very recently. How is that holding up? And of course, that was fresh. This Artisan Joker from the Batman Imposter version of that Joker, which we just talked about. How's that holding up now that it's acclimated to my climate-controlled environment? And you're not going to want to miss this episode. It's kind of like a rooted hair shelf life study, baby. And we are going to compare in art to Hot Toys. I'm going to give you a second take. Who's really got the edge here? I've got a couple of in art figures now, and both of those Lord of the Rings ones. I'm invested in it. I've also got a couple of Artisans. I've got Wonder Woman and that, Heath Ledger Joker. I'm invested in them. Really, who's better? What's better? We're going to break through all the politics. I don't got any type of inside connection with either one of these companies. I just got an affection for 6-scale figures, baby. And if you want me to give it to you straight, go ahead and join the channel. I got a couple of these episodes that are coming up. The other thing that this does, quite frankly, if you become a member, is it supports 6-scale Cantina. You know, a lot of you have asked me, you're like, hey, Aries, where's the market chart? Well, I still have the market chart, and I have a lot more data to go into the market chart, but it takes a lot of money, baby, to put that up. It also takes a lot of time. If you want to support 6-scale Cantina, I don't got a, Patreon or whatever that stuff is, which is great. You can support me by joining the channel if you want to. You can get some content. You got a great library of older content, and that does help when, I have to pay for the website or for time and stuff like that. So, if you want to support this channel, support the Dark Jedi. I'm going to try to get that market chart up again next year, which is going to include everything and a lot more than Star Wars, what was exclusive to. Go ahead and support 6-scale Cantina and the 13th Sculpt and the Hot Toys Wizard, Reverend Possible, Dr. Wonder, Captain Crunch, and the Inard Cowboy. We all appreciate your support, baby. For sure. Cheers again. Just click on the little join button. See everything that it comes with. And, yeah. I appreciate it. I certainly appreciate it. But going back to this here, it's very interesting, isn't it? Very, very interesting indeed. Let's go to some market stuff to show you how a lot of these other figures are doing. And I'm going to pull this up onto the screen, and you can see this right here. This ended on November 1st. And from an outstanding seller with 372 feedback, and wait for it. Wait for it. All 100% Mick positive. $334. That's it. 35 bids. Again, another case, like I was just showing you, of collectors just not willing to go a penny over. Where this was between 6 and 7, and the dark side version was between 8 and 9. Not too distant in the past. Not including the $10.77 in shipping. Again, do a lot of the collectors within this community that want this already have it? That's where that's moving. Okay? What about some of the newer figures? And I'm going to bring these up on the screen. How are they doing in comparison once they go on waitlist? Look, this is brand new. And this head sculpt got a lot of great rave reviews. And a lot of people can't wait to get this figure. But $284? And another outstanding seller with 412 feedback and 100% positive. That's it. So, let me ask you this. If Hot Toys produced more, would it just be sitting in stock and you got 40 people bidding on it just here, just 40, and it's not hitting the retail price, and it's not quite free shipping, but $10 is kind of cheap? Are companies tweaking their production to match demand? Are companies tweaking their production to match the current demand? Look, I'm just showing you what I'm seeing here, baby. I'm just showing you what is going on. Okay? Let's go to the Inquisitor. That's long been waitlisted. No bids. Opening up at $275. How many people? You missed out. You missed out on this. You missed out. You missed out on this figure. But couldn't even get a bid at $275. and to pay the $20 in shipping, which is pretty reasonable. Really? Should Hot Toys have produced more of this figure? Because according to the demand I'm seeing right here, I say no. They should not have. And I think part of this data they already projected, and they're getting right. And this goes with some of the older figures as well, because everybody that has this Leia, this is an Endor Leia. This is an Endor Leia from a great seller with 1,526 feedback, all 100% positive. With 51 minutes left, it only has one bid at $200. And listen, I recently sold my Leia and Wicket 2-pack. And for the exact reason you're seeing here, there is just no question that they're going to come out with this Leia again with Purs and probably Artisan and an upgraded version. Just like all the versions of Scarlet Witch that they have in their catalog. And all the versions of the Black Widow that Hot Toys has in their catalog. Everything they already put out with Carrie Fisher in the past, they're going to do again, and it's going to be better. And again, if the economy was better and a lot more potential collectors had expendable income, they're probably going to be all over this figure. But it's the same people over and over. And then you get some other people like, oh yeah, for this price, I'll go ahead and grab onto it. Or people that are not in this hobby saying, hey, this is great. I can buy it real cheap. Here's a DX28. Okay? The DX28. Putting that up onto the screen. Okay? And you could see right here, $280 with one bid. Outstanding seller, 869 feedback. All 100% positive. Not including the $9 in shipping. I wish these didn't go on waitlist so quick. Well, okay. But why? Because I think they projected it right, because this is where the demand is right now. In the secondary market. I say they probably produced what they needed to for this time. Does this mean that this one's going to be a juggernaut in the years to come? Yeah. I would say it has huge potential. Especially because I don't see this particular version from this film being 2.0'd very, very quickly. But again, they're 2.0ing everything. Even things we wouldn't think. So, that's not, out of the realm of possibility as well. And just a lot of the older figures are suffering. You can see this right here. Here's a DX10 in great shape from a seller with 21,081 feedback. Mint in the box. No damage at all with this figure. Only $204. There's a couple of reasons. Perhaps number one is the fact that these collectors realize that because of the new battle damaged Hot Toys DX13 2.0 that's out there, perhaps this one is going to be 2.0'd. And will it be 2.0'd? And I say yes. Pause again. Need a sip of the juice, baby. Simply delicious. Let's go to more. And then a lot of these older versions of figures, whether it's a Black Widow or a Scarlet Witch or a prior Heath Ledger Joker, when you pull up a prior, Gal Gadot Wonder Woman, now that they've got the premium one from an outstanding seller with 140 feedback, but all 100% positive, $133. Back from October 20th. Yeah. It's just, how much does the innovation? Does the innovation, the new technology, the superiority of the new Warner Brothers 100 Wonder Woman, that for all intents and purposes is your first artisan figure, how much does that have to do with it? And look, how is that Wonder Woman doing? Well, here you go. Another one sold for $945. No best offer. It just sold. Gone. Gone. Just like the Inarch Gandalf. Gone. And yeah, here's another one. These are going over $1,000 on eBay. Again, from the States. $899. $900 sold. Again, how much does the innovation, the sudden innovation, the innovation that was kind of spawned into motion because of the competition between a new company called InArt and Hot Toys, how much did this sudden impact of this innovation kind of make obsolete some of these figures that were once grails or once highly coveted or once a little bit coveted in the secondary market seem like, hey, I don't got the greatest one. This one's kind of outdated. And the way Hot Toys is pumping these out, how long before we get a 2.0? Quite honestly, how long before we get 3.0s, baby? Make sure you smash that like button and make sure you hit the subscribe. But look, let's take a look at more of the wizardry here. We already talked about Ventress. And the interesting thing about Ventress, as we pivot to, some of this wizardry here, is when you go and look at the Asajj Ventress, okay? It's a clear indication that Asajj Ventress is absolutely 1,000% in the works. Hot Toys' analysis, their research, their study to show if this figure would actually be marketable, to show if this figure would satisfy their customer base, would show that this figure would generate a profit. They certainly did the same thing with Asajj Ventress. And I dare say that Ventress would be even more profitable and more coveted than even Asajj Ventress. So you have to ask yourself, is this a sign that Asajj Ventress, which the Hot Toys wizard proclaimed would be coming, is coming out? And I say, yes. For sure. For sure. I mean, just look at this. There's the Asajj Ventress. It's absolutely easy to, put your finger on it and realize what's coming down the pike. Okay? So now let's pivot to some of these other figures. And let's look at this again, which I love bringing this up. And that's why I put her on the banner. So here you go. Jabba's sail barge is available from Lego. Not Jack's Riverside company that happened to get a Star Wars license. This is Lego. Okay? Lego. Lego my ego, baby. And with Lego, they decided to include, under the approval of Walt Disney Corporation, they decided to include this. Do you see it on the screen? Is it possible that Hot Toys can give us some type of deluxe set, some type of exclusive that is going to be Prisoner Leia as well? And maybe even in an outfit where you could choose to take off an outfit and put on an alternate outfit or alternate head sculpt if you choose. And I say, absolutely. This is a clear sign that it's coming. Get out of your head. Howard's never did it. Harry's never did it. Susie's never did it. Jane's never did it. This executive's never did it. If Disney's doing it and Lego's doing it and there's money in it, they're going to do it, baby. Pause. Cheers. And this is the type of releases that shakes the hobby, that brings people into the hobby, that gets people excited, gets us excited. But would it be enough to increase production on other figures, bombshells like this? And I say no. Because we had bombshells this year. Okay? We've had so many bombshells this year. We had this bombshell. This should have shook the community. We had this bombshell with Star Wars. This should have shook the very core of the community. And it got like coverage for a day. Because there's so much stuff coming out. Because there's more and more announcements. With less production of these announcements and an onslaught of 2.0s, you don't have time. Remember when we used to talk about a figure for 2 months? It wasn't that long ago. You're talking a few years ago, baby. Excuse me. You're talking a few years ago, baby. You're talking a few years ago. Now these bombshells come out, and we talk about it for a couple days, and then if you put it on your batter the next week, it's old news. What's new? What's new? I want more. I want more. I still got to figure out how I'm going to pay for all these. To be completely honest with you. So, but I think with Leia, I think you probably get a week out of it. I think that this would be so crazy, you probably get maybe 2 weeks out of being able to talk about that. It just depends if they onslaught that with a Artisan Tony Stark Iron Man and an Artisan Thor, or, you know, if InArt announces, you know, something else. It gets lost. But I think we need the economy to continue to get on the road of improvement so that where collectors could come into the hobby, that's what helps. Again, pause. Look, we've talked about this Dark Side Anakin a little bit. And we're getting close now to the Anakin coming out. And now, you know, if I could find it, and if I can't, you know, we'll go ahead and talk about it here. But the Artisan Anakin is going to be supposedly coming out. Here it is. Between November now and December of this year. And I do think it's going to get officially released before the end of this year. So that, people wouldn't necessarily, bail out on their pre-orders or be able to get out of their NRDs. But I can't imagine that many people would want to do that with this release. Nonetheless, I do think it's going to come out before the end of the year. But you do have to wonder, are they going to give you an alternate version like they did with the Joker, the Heath Ledger Artisan Joker, with the Batman Imposter version of that Heath Ledger, Joker? And I say yes. And I think we got to keep that in mind. I think this is limited to 3,000. But you may get, for instance, another 3,000 with a Dark Side version, perhaps coming to a pre-order very, very soon. I'd keep an eye out on that, if this is going to happen. But it's too easy. And it's even easier than what they did with the Heath Ledger Joker, because they had to get some of that Christian Bale Batman armor and repaint it. You don't got to do anything with this except take two separate different colored eyeballs with the purrs, and when you insert them in the head, you can have everything almost the same. It's so easy. It's so easy. And honestly, I think it's coming. So be on the lookout for that for sure. And listen, now with the Dark Empire Luke gone and waitlisted, and we talked about that a few weeks ago, every version of this Dark Empire Luke has hit the waitlist. You can go ahead and join the waitlist, baby. But when you look at the potential of being able to take what they did with this, just look what they did with this Luke Skywalker. And honestly, to come up with a variation on this as well and say it's Return of the Jedi, which quite frankly I think needs an update, I think that we can look for this to be coming very, very, very fast. There's not a Luke right now that's available for pre-order on Sideshow right now. And is it possible that another Luke is coming real quick, fast, in a hurry? And I say yes. I say yes. Again, don't forget to consider joining the channel. We're working on the new 6scalecantina.com and the enhanced market chart. Takes money. Appreciate the support. If you want to join the channel, just click on the little join button. This is coming up this week. You got some other videos that are coming up. You can take a look at the library. It's good stuff, my friends. I don't always spill coffee, but when I do, I do it right here at the 6 Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends.
Ancient action figure theorists watching across the universe, we hope you've enjoyed Season 1 of the Aries Tarrington Show right here at the 6 Scale Cantina. Get ready for Season 2 of the Aries Tarrington Show. We're going to get more experts, more ancient action figure theorists, and we're going to go on location to the craziest parts of the universe. The Market Show is coming back along with 6 Scale Raw as we move into production for Season 2 of the Aries Tarrington Show. Stay thirsty, baby.